Good evening and welcome. You are watching Mana USA and I'm your trusted news anchor. Tonight we bring you an important international development that, as of January 2026, stands as the most significant recent shift in U.S.-Pakistan relations. This is not a breaking headline driven by speculation, nor a short-term political statement. This is a carefully measured diplomatic move with implications stretching from South Asia to the Middle East, and particularly to Gaza. The key development is Pakistan's decision to join a newly launched U.S.-led international initiative known as the Board of Peace. This initiative, announced and formalized in January 2026, represents Washington's latest attempt to shape a coordinated international response to the humanitarian crisis and post-conflict reconstruction needs in Gaza. In the third week of January 2026, Pakistan officially confirmed that it had accepted an invitation from the United States to participate in the Board of Peace. The invitation came from U.S. President Donald Trump and was publicly acknowledged during events held on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. According to official statements from Pakistan's Foreign Office, the decision was guided by Pakistan's long-standing position in favor of ceasefire, humanitarian relief, and reconstruction efforts in Gaza. To understand why this development matters, we need to look at the broader context. Gaza has endured one of the most devastating phases of conflict in recent decades. Months of intense fighting left tens of thousands dead or injured, displaced a large portion of the civilian population, and destroyed critical infrastructure, including hospitals, schools, and residential areas. Although a fragile ceasefire was reached toward the end of 2025, the humanitarian situation remains extremely dire, and long-term stability is far from guaranteed. It is against this backdrop that the United States proposed the creation of the Board of Peace. According to U.S. officials, the initiative is designed to help stabilize the ceasefire, coordinate humanitarian assistance, and support the reconstruction of Gaza through international cooperation. The U.S. administration has stated that the board is intended to work alongside existing international frameworks, including the United Nations, though some analysts have raised questions about how this new body will interact with established global institutions. Pakistan's decision to join the Board of Peace has drawn attention because of Islamabad's historically complex relationship with Washington. U.S.-Pakistan ties have seen periods of close cooperation, particularly during key regional security moments, as well as phases of tension marked by disagreements over counterterrorism, regional strategy, and economic priorities. In recent years, the relationship has been relatively cautious, with both sides maintaining engagement but avoiding major new strategic commitments. By joining the Board of Peace, Pakistan has signaled a willingness to engage diplomatically with a U.S.-led initiative on an issue of global concern, without framing the move as a military or security alignment. Pakistani officials have emphasized that their participation is rooted in humanitarian considerations and the desire to advocate for Palestinian rights within an international forum, rather than from outside it. In its official statements, Pakistan has stressed that it supports a lasting ceasefire in Gaza, unrestricted humanitarian access for civilians, and reconstruction efforts that respect international law. Islamabad has also made clear that its participation should not be interpreted as a departure from its long-standing support for the Palestinian cause. Instead, officials argue that being present at the table allows Pakistan to voice concerns, influence discussions, and help ensure that humanitarian priorities are not sidelined. The Board of Peace includes several other countries as well, among them Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Egypt, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Indonesia, and Jordan. Many of these nations are either Muslim-majority states or key regional actors in Middle Eastern diplomacy. From Washington's perspective, their participation adds regional credibility and helps frame the initiative as a multinational effort rather than a purely American project. However, Pakistan's decision has not been without controversy. Inside the country, opposition parties and segments of civil society have questioned the structure and leadership of the Board of Peace. Critics argue that the initiative appears heavily U.S.-driven and that the role of Palestinian leadership within the framework remains unclear. Others have expressed concern that the board could, intentionally or unintentionally, weaken the central role traditionally played by the United Nations in international peace and humanitarian efforts. Supporters of the government's decision counter these criticisms by saying that disengagement would leave Pakistan without influence. They argue that participation allows Islamabad to raise objections, shape outcomes, and resist any moves that contradict international law or humanitarian principles. According to this view, diplomatic presence is not endorsement but leverage. From the American perspective, Pakistan's participation carries strategic value. It demonstrates that Washington can still build coalitions around complex global issues, particularly those involving Muslim-majority countries. It also suggests that despite past tensions, the United States and Pakistan remain capable of cooperation on select diplomatic and humanitarian initiatives. It is important to note that as of January 23, 2026, there have been no further official updates regarding new actions, funding commitments, or operational steps taken by the Board of Peace. At this stage, the initiative remains largely a diplomatic framework rather than a fully implemented program. Observers are watching closely to see whether it will translate into tangible improvements on the ground in Gaza or remain primarily a political and symbolic effort. Experts in international relations caution that peace initiatives often face significant challenges, especially in regions as politically sensitive as Gaza. They point out that lasting peace depends not only on international coordination, but also on local political realities, governance structures, and the consent of affected populations. For this reason, many analysts describe the Board of Peace as an experiment whose success will depend on transparency, inclusiveness, and concrete results rather than rhetoric. For the people of Gaza, the stakes are high. Beyond diplomatic statements, what matters most is access to food, medical care, shelter, and the opportunity to rebuild normal lives after years of conflict. Any initiative that meaningfully contributes to these goals will be judged favorably by the international community. Conversely, failure to deliver real relief risks deepening frustration and skepticism. For Pakistan, this moment represents a balancing act. By engaging with a U.S.-led initiative, Islamabad is attempting to maintain constructive international relations while staying aligned with its stated principles on Palestine and humanitarian justice. How successfully it navigates this balance will become clearer in the months ahead. As things stand today, Pakistan's entry into the Board of Peace remains the most notable recent development in U.S.-Pakistan relations. It reflects a cautious but deliberate choice to engage through diplomacy rather than distance, and to participate in global conversations that shape humanitarian outcomes. You have been watching Mana USA. We will continue to monitor this story closely and bring you verified updates as they emerge, without speculation and without misinformation. Thank you for joining us. I'm your news anchor. Good night.